Hello and welcome to the Big Agent Meeting. My name is Russ Laggan, Vice President of Training for eXp Realty. As we hit the end of July, the clock is officially ticking down on summer. In the real estate business, this is the ultimate transition period. The agents who win are the ones who use this exact moment to start sharpening your tools, marketing systems, and your pricing strategies. What you do right now in late July and early August is exactly what's dictating what your bank account's going to look like in October and November. That's why today our show is all about finishing the summer sprint strong. Here's what we have lined up for you today. First up, we have Chief Innovation Officer Seth Siegler. He's jumping on for a tech talk on eXp's new game-changing tool, HouseCanary. You're going to want to see that one. Then next, we've got your brokerage brief with the Chief Brokerage Officer, Holly Mabery, who just had a birthday on Sunday. Happy birthday again, Holly Mabery. She's going to be breaking down crucial tips on disclosure timelines and how you protect your deals. And then, of course, finally, we have to check in with one of eXp Solutions' trusted providers, BuildASign. If you don't know all about BuildASign, you're going to learn all about BuildASign today. So without further ado, let's dive straight in for an update with one of eXp's newest tools, HouseCanary. Here's Chief Innovation Officer Seth Siegler.
Thanks, Russ. Carrie Lysenko here, your Chief Technology Officer, with Seth Siegler, your Chief Innovation Officer. We're so excited to be here again on Big Agent Meeting. We want to talk a little bit about HouseCanary. Some of you have probably heard the rumors, and the rumors are true. We are an official enterprise partner of HouseCanary. We know a few of you have been using them for valuation reports and CMAs. So we want to walk through a little bit about how to use your eXp partnership to get free reports every month as an agent here at eXp. So first of all, most of you will recognize we are in the hub right now. And so if you haven't set up your hub profile, please go to hub.exprealty.com to do that. You can log in with your exprealty.com email. And once you have your profile active, you can go to the App Store. And so Seth has navigated here to the App Store on the left-hand navigation, and he has searched in the search bar for HouseCanary. And so we are going to remember, if you are accessing HouseCanary, please do it from the App Store, because this is a special partner page that is dedicated directly for us and for our agents here like you at eXp. So Seth, do you want to take us through our partner page and walk through a little bit of the login and how to use the tool?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So super exciting. Like Carrie said, you're going to find HouseCanary inside the App Store in the hub. Yes, you can go to HouseCanary and try to log in. If you do that, though, you won't get the special eXp deal that we've had negotiated. So definitely be sure to come into the App Store here. Like you can see, I've got it pinned in my favorites area. You'll find it here in the Discover section, where you can just type in HouseCanary and then you'll see it right here. The cool thing is that if you access it through the hub, you're going to use your hub login to single sign on inside of right into HouseCanary. So all you have to do is just press this Open App button. It'll open in a new tab, which I'll share here, and it's going to create your special eXp partner account inside of HouseCanary. You'll see this special eXp official partner logo up here. And then when you first come in here, you're going to see a little pop-up. I've been in here before, so I'm not seeing it, but when you first come in, you'll see this pop-up that explains that as part of your eXp special partnership deal, you get 5 free CMA creations per month. And then if you want to go over that, it's only $20 a month, and then you can have unlimited CMA creations, plus a whole bunch of other things here in this HouseCanary partner portal. To get there, once you're inside of here, you can do a few different things. One, you can just search for an area or a house or a property over here, or you can kind of come directly into this Property Explorer section. Type in any address in the United States, and you'll be able to create a CMA of that property. So in this example use case, I've created one already for a property that is not on the market. So this would be an example use case of you're going on a listing appointment and you want to create a CMA for it. This is kind of what it looks like. It pulls in all of the photos from previous listings and Street View and everything else. And then HouseCanary has a whole bunch of interesting features that make the CMA kind of like work a little bit differently. One is that you get to adjust the comps that it set for you, which I'll show you how to do. But then the other thing is that this is the HouseCanary value. So HouseCanary has their AVM, which is highly regarded. Some banks use it, for instance, for different things. And then separately, though, you can tell HouseCanary whether you agree with it or not, adjust it, or you can use the comp value. And then from here, you can download it or create an Excel sheet of the comps, all kinds of different things. But let's dig into it. So over here, you've got the AVM breakdown. So AVM is the valuation model, right? So this is what they think it is. 163. You can dig here into the property details. And then this is one of the cool things right off the bat. You can adjust these fields. So let's say that you're going on this listing appointment and you know that they added a bathroom, right? So these details tend to come from tax records, right? Or previous listings. So they've got it listed as a 3.3, but let's say you know that they actually added on a bathroom and now it's a 3.4. You can, let's keep an eye on these values here, right? So it's 1694. I've added a bathroom, saving the adjustment. It's going to update the report values and we'll see it. You're going to see it change. Spoiler alert. It's going to go up by having a fourth bathroom. So you can see, yeah, now the price is higher because that's been adjusted. And you can see that that's been adjusted here as well. So you can adjust any of these tax record stats. You can also just see the different data sources, how they've arrived at that automated valuation. You can see the transaction history, stuff that you might see on other CMAs. But then it starts getting kind of interesting here, where you've got some neighborhood insights, nearby properties. You can you've got this list of filtered comparables, which I'll show you how to adjust. And then even like transfer documents, assessor maps, depending on the property and the municipality, there'll be different documents available here. And then this is pretty cool right here. So this, as I mentioned in the beginning, if you don't agree with the HouseCanary AVM, you can actually change it here. I can say that I think the AVM is underpriced. And I think that it's closer to, let's say, 1.7, right? So that's what I think it is. And now the report gets updated, and HouseCanary is also alerted of this. So that's kind of another neat feature. But over here, we can see which comps that it used also. And this is pretty neat. As I mentioned, you can change the comps. So these are the ones.
I love this part in particular, where you can add in ones that are more relevant to the property.
So let's say like this one, you're like, beautiful house, but for some reason, it's not an accurate comp. I can uncheck that one and add this one for, let's say, like I know this neighborhood, and architecturally, this mid-century one for some reason matches it better, right? Whatever. So I can do that. You can do that. You can change the comps, and then we're going to use these 8 comps, and it's again going to recalculate the price based on that, right? If we use the comp value, this is now a different price. So that's really kind of the gist of it. Separately, also there's this rental version of it as well. So not only can you have a regular CMA for resale value and current valuation, you can also have this rental report, and it's all the same stuff. There's rental comps, so we can choose the rental comps here to set this value, but this is the HouseCanary rental value. So they think it can get around $6,000 a month. Great. And then from here, we can download the report. You can download it as a regular PDF, or you can choose this button to share it. And don't worry, if you share it, your sellers or your potential buyers, they're not going to be able to adjust all that same stuff. It'll be a static report when you share it with them. So you've got these 2 ways.
Those are agent-only settings.
That's right. That's right. So don't worry about that. But that's just one of the things that you can do inside of HouseCanary. EXP is paying for that, for any agent at EXP to be able to run 5 of those a month And if you need more or want more, it's just $20 a month. Again, special EXP deal, way cheaper, way less expensive than you would get by going directly to HouseCanary. And then you'll have unlimited CMAs a month from there.
And so that is really a great reminder of why we want you as agents to go through the hub, to go through the HouseCanary app within the App Store to make sure that you are on the EXP partner page and you're getting the special discounted deal. You will be prompted to enter a credit card, even if it's for the free version. So no need to worry, they will not charge you, only if you go above and beyond, and you will get prompted if you go above and beyond that 5 reports as to whether you want to move forward and then purchase a seat. So you will be asked to add a card, but as I mentioned, you will not be charged for 5 reports and under on a per month basis.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy it. Definitely check it out. Definitely, as Carrie said, please go through the Hub App Store to access it, or else you won't get the special EXP deal. But can't wait to see what you all do with this. I think it's a really powerful CMA tool, really, really nice at listing appointments and all kinds of other things around the business.
And like anything we do here in tech, we are hoping that this adds to, kind of your toolkit, and it helps you to accelerate your business, especially with sellers. And we're looking forward to hearing your feedback.
Having rock solid data through HouseCanary is one of the best ways that you, as an EXP agent, can actually build credibility with sellers. So make sure you're diving into that new tool and new opportunity now. Now, having cutting edge tech tools is one piece of the puzzle, but keeping your transactions airtight through the proper disclosures and risk management is what keeps your commission protected and the company protected. Joining us for real talk on why disclosing early and fully is your best negotiation tool, here's Chief Brokerage Officer Holly Mabery with your brokerage brief.
Every quarter, your brokerage ops team, we do a deep dive on maybe some of the friction points we're seeing in transactions and problem areas, things that make your deal go bump in the night or just flat out cancel. So I wanted to bring to you these hotspots, challenges, and what's going on with disclosure. It's interesting because right now what's happening so much in these real world patterns, roof age. This is what's so interesting because a lot of times you and I will casually use a term in the roof was recently replaced. Okay, what does recently replaced mean to you and I? Well, it could be the last year. But for a buyer, recently replaced means probably here in the last month. And this is what's so important because when a seller knows the roof is 20 years old or older, plus or older, the useful life on that roof is starting to get less and less, especially if you live in the Midwest. What's happening right now, especially when it comes to insurance, is insurance companies are not saying, hey, you've got a 30-year roof. They're looking at a 15-year or maybe 20-year roof, and they may not cover for full replacement. So what's important is what we put in writing, the actual date it was replaced, right? Like, don't guess, pull the receipt. I actually went on a listing and it was so sweet. This couple had built this home by themselves back in like 1981, and it was everything that they wanted. Well, what was so lovely is when I was sitting and visiting with her, she was telling me about all the upgrades they had done to the property. Okay, great. That sounds awesome. Where I'm making notes, I'm talking, her through each thing in the house. And I said, okay, do you have the receipts for all of these? And she said, absolutely, I do. I pulled them all. This is great. I've got receipts to go with the disclosure. We are going to get this house sold. Everybody's going to win. I went in and she had everything spread out in the guest bedroom on the bed. And I kid you not, I'm going through the age of the roof. Well, she said it was recently replaced. Recent to her was in the last 10 years because she had lived in the house for so long. She talked about the HVAC being replaced. And she said, oh yeah, we didn't do that, but too long ago. Okay, too long ago was about 5 years. Dishwasher, 3 years old. There was nothing in what she had told me versus what she had in writing from receipts that I could say was new or recent. And so when you start to look at that age of something, the actual date it was replaced or fixed, it becomes super critical because we're seeing buyers really have heartburn over it. And also when they have heartburn, they're going to ChatGPT or they're going to Claude. They're saying, hey, I'm so mad at this situation. And sometimes AI is telling them it's the agent's fault. And when they do that, now they're filing with the Department of Real Estate. Sometimes they're actually getting an attorney. And as a result, it's costing more money. So I just want you to be really, really cautious what it looks like with roof age. Now, square footage is the same thing. If you've got something that's listed and you say, 2,400 square feet, but should be verified prior to close of escrow, but the appraisal comes in at 2,100, 300 square feet is substantial, and that could throw off your price per square foot. Now, I know, like, if a house was built in 1987 and the price per square foot, like, it's all relative, but it may not be to that buyer. And we've actually seen some action around square footage, what was real, what was livable, what was under roof, because they're not all the same thing. And as a result, what the buyer thought they were buying and paying for, price per square foot, became a material fact. Now, bath count, this is what I love. The property was advertised as 3 baths. Okay, great. But they get in there and the 3rd bath was not permitted. And in fact, it wasn't even hooked up to the septic. It was hooked up to a 50-gallon drum outside. Yeah, that's an illegal bathroom and you can't count it as such. So when you start to think of disclosure, these were actually 3 real-world patterns or issues that we saw here in the last 90 days. So when you think of full disclosure and that material fact, it's any information that could influence a buyer's decision to purchase, either for or against. And so when you start to think of those structural defects, right, the foundation, the roof, water intrusion, mold, those are all material facts or defects, and it becomes really important. Now, the past insurance claims, like, let's say you just had the roof replaced because it had blown off during the last storm and the insurance paid for it. Well, you have the next storm, and insurance comes out and says, hey, we're not going to pay for all of this roof, et cetera, et cetera. It becomes a problem. The other would be unpermitted work. And this is where it becomes so important. You and I as agents, the most important thing we'll ever do is be the source of the source. See, I can guide you where to pull permits for the building, but I certainly shouldn't be pulling them for you, because what if I miss one? What if I overlook something that was really important to that buyer? And sometimes they don't know what's really important to them until they move in and they live with it for a little bit. I know it's after the fact, but that's when it becomes itchy scratchy. So when you start to think of material facts, this is where you and I can be very, very proactive and understanding known versus opinion versus a red flag. And this is when we start to think about disclosure, it's so important. The roof was replaced in 2018 by this company. Awesome. It's very specific. When in doubt, attach the receipt or anything that you have from the service provider is huge. Now, when you start to give things out like opinion, this is a great neighborhood. Cool. What does that mean to you? See, I want to be in a neighborhood that's more rural, but I want to make sure I don't have any snakes. Well, rural Arizona, y'all, I have snakes. That's just going to happen. Is that still a great neighborhood? I would argue probably. But for some people moving from the city, they want land, but they don't want snakes. It becomes a challenge. And then finally, when you have an opinion that hides that fact of what's going on, that quiet street, when there's a highway expansion or something else planned, maybe airport rerouting, airport noise, that can become an issue. So when you and I come across things, it's really important we put it in writing. We put it in writing immediately to the other agent, and we have our seller update their seller property disclosure statement. And I know every state has a different name for that document, but making sure that our sellers have that real time and understand what it means to complete, it's really, really important. Waiting to just before closing or, gosh, the pre-closing walkthrough is a really bad idea. So when you think of timelines, at time of listing, making sure that you and I go out, like when we go and we're going to take a listing, we're doing a couple of things. One, do I want to put my name on this house? Because literally you're putting your sign in the yard. Two, you're interviewing the seller. Is this somebody I want to work with? Am I going to take their calls over my spouse and my parents, my kids? Because their call, like for the next however long it takes to get their house sold, is pretty darn important. So understanding, hey, do I have a seller who's willing to disclose what they know about the property? Now I'll say this. I actually went to work for a seller that he was an investor and he listed properties all the time. And that property we went and listed, oh my gosh, it had a lot of challenges, but we were listing it so low, all of those things. And he's like, I've never seen the property. Let's just get it on the market. I bought it at a foreclosure sale. So we did. We got it on the market, put it under contract immediately, and then the home inspection happened. Home inspection came back. And what was so interesting is it was like the phone book. It was so thick. But in this, the buyer was like, oh my gosh, cannot buy this house. It's got more challenges than I can afford. So they canceled. Immediately, I called the seller and I said, hey, I need you to update your seller disclosure statement. And he said, no, I've never seen the house. I'm not going to do that. Guys, this is where I hit pause and I said, actually, I need you to, because we've received this home inspection. We are fully aware of everything that is wrong with the house as cited by this home inspector. So I need you to update your disclosure statement. And he said, I can't, and you won't make me. I said, okay, you're right, I can't. But if you are unwilling to, I must. And I will let buyers know that you were unwilling to update your own disclosure. And that's why I'm having to make it. And he goes, well, I forbid you to disclose anything. I said, great, you're not worth my license. I will fire you. And also, I will make sure that people are aware that they should have a home inspection the next listing agent you get. Now, it was a small town. I threw my weight around a little bit, but it was the right thing to do because he made those disclosures. And then we ended up selling the property. Buyer was super happy because they went in with eyes wide open. They had their own home inspection. They used our disclosure and they kept moving. The key in all of this is standing up to do the right thing is never wrong. So when you start to think of that key timeline and disclosure, every state is slightly different in your due diligence period. But if you are aware of something that could impact a buyer and the consideration they pay for that property, you got to disclose it. And it only happens if it's done in writing. So please do. And it makes a huge difference. And this is the thing. If the buyer's inspector uncovers things and then they cancel, you need to be updating your disclosure yet again. It's absolutely critical we do that. Now, practical tools as far as your disclosure checklist, obviously the pre-listing, you're walking through the property. This is the thing. You should never be taking a listing on a property you have not seen personally. If you do, how do you verify what's going on with that property? How can you properly represent it? It becomes a challenge. So please make sure you're getting out and seeing that property. Also, when you look at that contract execution, making sure that you're making those proper disclosures, you're delivering them timely as called for by the purchase contract. And then, of course, you're keeping that updated during escrow because, doggone it, things happen during escrow, especially if a house is vacant. I know we've all had those nightmare stories where suddenly there's a water leak that nobody expected and you can't figure out where it's coming from. It's under the bathroom sink. It's maybe at the refrigerator. Oh my gosh, it could be the washer. All of those things happening. And so as you look at everything that's going on, the seller has to maintain that property in many states through closing to make sure it's in the same condition. And it's important that you and I are aware and we're updating the seller. Communication here is going to be huge. Now, scenarios where everything goes wrong, that roof leak mid-escrow, yeah, in Arizona, we're hitting monsoon season. So every afternoon, we're going to hopefully get rain, which is amazing. But the number of times during this time of year, because we've had a substantial dry spell, my goodness, roof leaks suddenly happen. Or even worse, we're seeing trees get blown down because of windstorms. Yeah, we have to put it in writing and we have to disclose it. So making sure that if a seller is aware of something, if they're seeing something, they're letting you know and you both are proactive about letting the other party know, even if the seller is fixing it, you have to let the other party know. Also, late foundation disclosures. If people go out and there's a foundation issue that we knew about earlier, but the buyer goes out and they've spent their money, man, did the seller know about it? Do they have receipts? Have things been ongoing? That's been an interesting one that we're seeing more and more buyers and sellers come to massive disagreement on. So being proactive in your disclosure here is huge. And then finally, the one that is probably the most, puts us in the most jeopardy is a super vague seller disclosure form. And a lot of states just have check boxes and then a blank space that you can kind of fill in. And so for instance, in my state, you can check the box. Have you seen any reptiles on the property or bugs, insects, pests, etc.? A lot of people mark no. This is what I'll say. In Arizona, I'm always marking yes. I got lizards, I've got spiders. Even though I spray every month, I will still have maybe an occasional scorpion depending on where you're at. It just happens. And so if I mark no and somebody coming from another state and they suddenly see a scorpion, yeah, that's where lawsuits are born. And scorpions are nasty, so you really don't want to see one. But vague disclosures forms, if people are just marking no, 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 no issues, guys, that's your first red flag to have a conversation with your seller. And as a buyer's agent, the phrase I always use, we are going to inspect what we expect. And that means we're going to dig a little bit deeper. If we believe that the roof is sound and not leaking, we are going to double check that and inspect what we expect. We expect the roof to be in great shape, so let's inspect it to double check that. It makes a huge difference. And as we look at how we go forward, those proactive disclosures, they actually win the deals, because it's been interesting. Buyers right now are expecting more. They're paying more. The interest rate is up. There's more inventory. And so they're not afraid to walk away. If the disclosure is happening up front, it's like, hey, I want to make you aware of these things you might come across. It makes a huge difference to that buyer in, hey, I might actually stay in this deal because the seller let me know in advance. I made my offer knowing X, Y, and Z on this property. And as a result, feel like I'm getting a better deal. Now, may they still ask you to fix those things? Of course. It becomes a negotiation dance and the buyer could still walk. But updating and being proactive with your disclosure, we're seeing actually people win and stay in the deal just a little bit longer, which makes a huge difference. So at the end of the day, when we reduce our liability, it's really about being proactive. And if we are proactive, we reduce agent liability, also the brokerage disclosure, and your reputational risk. We've all had those moments where an agent on the other side, you're like, did they tell me everything I needed? And those are bummer moments to be in, but you can think of them like that. And so as a result, when you think of the next deal that you want to win, right? You've got multiple offers and you want to be that agent that wins it for your client. Did you make the disclosures timely? Were you easy to work with? Did you communicate well? It's the deals that are the hardest where you earn that reputation that people want to work with you. And that makes a huge difference. I don't mind the hard deals. Give them to me all day long, because when I do that, people know that I'm in it to win it and I can get them through the other side, both my buyers as well as my sellers and the agent. So definitely make sure that you're disclosing early, disclose fully, documentation, receipts, photos where you can, and it really is going to be the best way to protect your deal going forward. This is such a crazy time in this market. I want you to be as proactive as possible, because communication is going to be your best friend, early, often, and in writing. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, Holly. If you want to protect your reputation and keep your deals from falling apart mid-escrow, remember Holly's words: disclose early, disclose fully, and document everything. Now, as you win one of those late summer listings, you need to make sure you're taking that opportunity to show your branding outside in the neighborhood, to show exactly how you can refresh your signage, give you a little treat. Let's check in with one of the core eXp Solutions trusted providers. Here's BuildASign.
Hello, my beautiful eXp agents. It is Alex, one of your account members here for eXp on the BuildASign page. And you know, one thing about eXp is they recently actually interviewed top performing agents and found that those who place 25 or more signs for an open house generate more traffic, more leads, and ultimately more business. The question is, if the top agents are doing this every weekend, why aren't more agents? It's time to transform open houses into a marketing campaign. And I have my colleague, Nathan, here, who's also on your account team. Say hi, Nate.
Glad to be here. Glad to be on the team. So in conjunction with the eXp corporate team, we put together a promo to where you can get 25 18 by 24 corrugated plastic signs and stakes for under $125. That way, every open house that you do, you can leverage that into a marketing campaign, not only for the house, but also for your business and your brand. And so we'll show you where on the website that you can get this deal and how to do it.
For this example specifically, we're going to start with open house signs, and we're going to click on these open house signs, the third one down from this drop-down menu. For this example, we'll go ahead and click on this beautiful 18 by 24 sign. This deal specifically is going to be for corrugated plastic. No holes or grommets needed, but we will need to add some stakes. So while you're on this page, go ahead and click 24 by 10 wire stakes, and you're going to want to change this quantity to 25. We'll go ahead and click continue. This is our design tool. It's super user friendly. All of our signs though are compliant within eXp Corporate on our site. Next, you'll go to save and continue. So you'll see here 25 corrugated plastic signs and stakes is going to get you to right under $125. That code, I'm going to show it here just so you're able to see it. And I'm going to read it aloud as well, is EXPU Open House Leads. We hope you'll have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of the session, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you for the team at BuildASign. Getting your branding out in the world is crucial as those new listings hit the market. So let's make sure you take advantage of that deal and take your business to the next level. All right. So before we officially wrap things up for today and get back to crushing the late summer, I want to make sure we hear from you. This show was built for our community, and your input dictates the direction. So take a chance to jump on that QR code right now that's up on your screen right there and fill out a quick NPS survey. Give us a scale, rating a scale on a 1 to 10. Let us know how we did. Of course, add some information if you want to see something different. Make sure you throw that in there too. And while you're at it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so you always know the second we go live again. I want to say I appreciate you all spending time in your Wednesday morning with me. Have a productive week. Keep that momentum going. And we're going to see you right here back next Wednesday. I'm Russ Laggan. I'm out.
Big agent meeting. Serious agents are coming here. KGCI streams real-world real estate strategy 24 hours a day.
Lead generation, conversion, marketing that actually works.
Take it with you wherever you go. Download the always free